Hi folks, welcome to Perf Mentor's Microlearning session. In today's session, we are going to learn about invoice verification and payment processing. So this is the last stage in the purchasing process. So in my previous video, I've clearly explained the overall purchasing process and what are the various stages involved in the purchasing process. Let me do a quick recap of that. So the purchasing process starts with the purchasing requisition, which is internal to an organization. When there is a demand for a particular product in the organization, the associate in that organization will raise a purchase requisition to the buying department. And the buying department, once they receive the purchase requisition, they will create a purchase order for that particular product from a wholesaler, right? That's a vendor or the supplier, referencing the purchase requisition. And the vendor, once they receive the purchase order, they will have to now fulfill this purchase order. So they will give a delivery date as when they can supply this product to the company. And that will trigger an inbound delivery to the company. And once the company receives the inbound delivery, they will be waiting for that particular delivery date when they are going to get that product. And now the vendor will deliver all these products in a truck or container to the warehouse or the plant location. Once this truck moves to the warehouse location, they will unload the products and they will scan and add that product to an inventory. So this is done by a process called goods receipt. And once the goods receipt is done, we have the invoice verification and payment processing. That's what we are going to discuss in today's video. So now first, let's take a look at the invoice verification. Once the goods receipt is complete, the truck driver or the vendor will provide an invoice receipt to the company, and the company will now enter the invoice into their SAP system electronically or through manual process. And once the invoice is entered into the SAP system, it will do the invoice matching. And this can be done with two-way matching or three-way matching depending on how they have set the policy in the company. So if the invoice receipt is matched against the purchase order only, it is called a one-way matching. And if the invoice is matched against the purchase order and goods receipt, it is called two-way matching. So depending on the organization's policy, they might do one or two matching. During the invoice matching, if there is any discrepancy, it goes for an approval. Again, invoice approval also can have one or two approval. It depends. If there is a discrepancy, it might go for a two-way approval, and if there is no discrepancy, it might go through a one-way approval. So it depends again on the company's policy. And once the invoice is approved, then the next stage is the invoice posting. So the invoice is posted in SAP, creating an accounting document. Accounting document is nothing but a financial document that has the accounting number, general ledger, credit or debit. All this financial information is in the accounting document, and this will update the vendor's payable balance. Once the accounting document is created, it will update the vendor's payable balance based on the invoice amount. And that's the end of the invoice verification. Once the invoice verification is done, now the payment has to be processed and sent to the vendor or the supplier. So there are three stages in the payment processing. First one is the payment proposal. So here what happens is vendor and the company will have a contractual obligation. So from the day of goods receipt, when is the last due date to send the payment. So based on that contractual obligation, they will set up a payment proposal. The next one is the payment approval. When the due date comes, the payment has to be released. It can be automatically released, or it can go through an approval process and the approver will release the fund to the vendors or supplier. And once that is done, the last step is the payment clearing. Payment clearing is nothing but the payments are reconciled with the bank statement and the vendor invoices. And once this reconciliation is done, it will update the accounts payable balance of the vendor or the supplier. And that's the end of the payment processing. With this, our entire purchasing process comes to an end. Thank you so much guys. Hope this video was helpful. If you want to see more such videos, please do like and subscribe. And if you are looking for a one-on-one session with me, please feel free to reach out to my WhatsApp number provided in the description. Thank you so much and happy learning. Bye.